We're going to be playing What Remains of Edith Finch. I'm sorry in advance. Grab some tissues if you stay around to the end, and let's start this. Whoa. I load it in immediately with the eardrums being blown out. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. We got some flowers. We got the diary.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Seriously, that is a big house. Wow.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
That pretty much feels like a lot of years.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Yeah, seriously, sounds a lot like the years spent for my mailboxes.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
So, should we take the high road or the low road? Low road. This is genuinely beautiful. I am really amazed at how beautiful this is. I hear the frogs, but I do not see them.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
The way the words, like as it's being narrated, pop up, wow. It makes you feel like you're in a cinematic masterpiece. What we got here? Ooh, used to play ball.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Dude. That house is huge. That
As a
house.
child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
I don't know. I can see that kind of making you uncomfortable, but I can also kind of picture that, like,
Now, as a
sparking a sense
17-year-old,
of
I knew exactly what those words
adventure.
were. I was afraid of the house.
You afraid of the house?
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
All right. No front door, no worries.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
I'm just surprised there's not like cobwebs everywhere. Alright, doesn't look like there's anything off to the right there, so we'll go to the left. There's driveway. Maybe there's a entry to the garage? No prompts are coming up. Oh. It's just me, or there's like no dirt even in the flower pots. I'm kind of amazed at that. Uh-oh. This is how the raccoons get
Crawling
in.
through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
I bet it was. How old is she in this?
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Dude. I can't express how beautiful this is. Like, seriously, am I overreacting? I don't think I am.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
God. They certainly loved their Chinese takeout, didn't they?
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
For what we got over here?
Or how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
I bet Molly was loving that.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it. Like a smile with too many teeth.
I can understand that.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
No.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
So I guess she was present for the moving day?
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Oh, wow. They have a houseboat? What doing?
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
For a house this size, I can only
It was
imagine.
like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Like, this ain't great, but this could be a lot worse.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Huh. Sounds like your mom was a wonderful lady. Or he was very colorful. Alright, I guess we just made the loop, so we'll see what we can do about maybe going upstairs, checking it out there.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
I don't know, but Grandma Edie sounds pretty cool. Like, legit cool. Little finches everywhere.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Ew.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
You know, though, I guess whatever you go through becomes the norm. Ah, Sven and Eddie.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Dude, they had a movie star. She was in them Squatch commercials.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
I guess she lost favor pretty quickly then. Oh.
Mom must have locked the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left.
Was Mom trying to keep the family safe, or was Mom just trying to keep the house safe? I don't... That's open, so I'll go in here first.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
So everybody just die and go missing? Is that what
I
I'm...
spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
I kind of feel like he was definitely a Shark Week fan. And a little caboose over here.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Of course. Of course.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Ooh. I like the sketch.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Well, one way to
Just like
find
I
out,
had
I
no
guess.
idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Well, I hope it had more than raisins to eat.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Dude, let me get a house and find out. This is totally the stuff I'd be doing. I kind of feel like nobody here would complain about it either. Alright, what we got? Diary. Oh. Do we read it? Yeah. Alright, let's see what we got.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Alright, so I'm just going to ask this now, and you'll find out Did a little upgrading, so now I can switch scenes a little bit better. But why did that pop up right where the gerbil was at? She over here eating gerbil?
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Thank God it was just the gerbil food and not the gerbil.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Oh no.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Wow. Christopher's like, yeah, why would you want to eat me? Alright, looks like we go over here. What's this room?
I kept eating and eating.
Dude. That's like that, like, old school, like, creds for kids. Really? Aren't those things poisonous?
I ate a lot of things that night.
I think those things are poisonous. No way. Dude, this kid...
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Dude. Do I need to say anything else? Oh, wow. I am legit playing as a cat.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Oh, wow. This is, like, super intuitive. I don't know if maybe if it's because of how linear it is, but...
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Oh. Hey, come back. Ooh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. You gonna go in my belly.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
I bet
Now
she
I was
is.
up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up.
Whoa.
Suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
Rabbit. No.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Dude. Why does this girl feel like she gonna be on like My 600-Pound Life?
A mama rabbit.
Uh-oh. Got him. Oh.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Those red berries kicked in.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Wow.
I wanted fat, juicy seeds.
No.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Dude, Molly. You need to calm it down, ma'am. Oh. Is it too late for Molly to go vegan? Like, I like rabbits and seals.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
She turned to something else. Oh no. Okay, there we go.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Oh wow. Why does I feel like she's going after more than just a bird? Ooh. Molly.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Molly. What? Oh, wow. Dude, that is so crazy.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Uh-oh.
His belly with a rusty razor, his belly with a rusty razor, his belly with a rusty razor, I know more. What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
Dude. They're dirty for that. They are so dirty for that.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry.
Dude.
Across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
That is so insane.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Dude. What's she about to do? Dude, she probably like some
I
old
got
lady's
closer
house.
and closer.
Wait. Wait. Is that her house? Is that legit her house? What are we doing?
All of my stomach started growling,
All of her stomachs?
and suddenly I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep, but it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Wow. Molly's got that absolute amazing
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
imagination and a half, man. Wow. All right, so we got to meet Molly. Did I just hear a cat? Is she really going out on the...
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Old boy had jokes.
I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son,
Wow.
Johan.
I'm going to get rid of my ugly face for a second so y'all can actually enjoy this.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
They must have been one heck of a carpenter set.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
She certainly isn't joking about that. There is definitely something going on with that family. Nothing over there for me to explore.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Oh, wow. May we all die by something as heroic as that.
Even in her 90s.
Sometimes
The
Edie
hands of
seemed
a
a lot
dragon.
younger than my mother.
Dude, a lot nastier too. Ooh. Edie.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Clearly. I love how they really direct you towards your next slot. Oh, froggy. Ducks. Little, what are those? Those little, like castle men, like those blocky men. There's a secret in the bathroom. I bet there is.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Oh, wow. Well.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Dude. Legit, though. Photography is super fun. If you get the opportunity, if you're not already into it, try your hand at it. It's nowadays it's more accessible and it's definitely worthwhile. And it gives you reason to explore things or to set things up. Oh, Milton.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
No.
And that he never talked about him.
So I guess now we're going to learn the horror story that is...
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Yeah. Grandpa Sam. Oh, that's a bad omen.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
I don't know, but Calvin seems pretty cool to me.
Calvin, dinner's ready. Coming.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
Oh, challenge accepted.
Maybe if I hadn't said that,
No.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here.
Oh, time's about to fly right past dinner.
I think he'd already made up his mind.
No.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Oh, he made it. Made it.
That's the day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's I think not every kid, but a lot of kids do.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Ooh.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
I'm amazed that he could, like, all the lawsuits are covering. That's a lot to live under the roof of. Oh, wow. They were not playing with all these
The
passages.
passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Come on, open it up. Now, I don't necessarily want to go out just yet.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Oh, this is the one that was squatching with the squatch.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
We'll hold off on that. First, let's check out everything we got to see here. Or no music for this.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Dude, this is totally,
As a
totally
child star,
old
Barbara
school
was
Tales from the
famous
Crypt.
for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed.
Get it, Barb?
Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend.
Why does she sound like a cocoa
was
bar?
about to demonstrate when
Now that was a great scream.
it was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration.
Poor Barbara.
But I'm not hearing terror.
I
If
love this
tried-
art
A
style.
gang of hoodlums and Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas
All
Island
right,
tonight.
I'm going to
Police
disappear
are urging residents
so you can
to-
enjoy this.
That came from the basement.
You're right. Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
Isn't that like 2 of the rules? Like, seriously,
Reached for the music box.
you never break in a horror movie? You never have a boy over or a girl over. And you never say, I'll be right back. Just saying.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
So did Rick take the key out and put it back in the music box?
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
This is really cool that you're playing through the comic strip art. Ooh.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Oh no, not the Hookman. Take that, Hookman. And you, bird girl. Uh-oh.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Hey, you stop that.
Oh dear!
That's right.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Uh-huh.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She
Dude.
threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it, and she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later,
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
They sitting there goofing on her, trying to figure out how to make her scream like she used to. Dude, why is... They're like... Skate? Dress?
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
No.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock
Dude.
all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Oh.
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
She still couldn't get that scream in.
And he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Clearly. Oh yeah, this is where old boy's room was.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Dude, the way they do this through the comic strip is amazing. That's right. Smack him again.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over.
Bam! The bitch goes down. Alright, Barbara, you need to run. That's how they get away. You gotta go double tap them. I've seen the Scream movies. I know how this works. Dude, where are they living? This is clearly not America. They'd have a gun.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Pizza. She got delivery, but she just ate DiGiorno's.
Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
They brought the party to her.
The monsters
Oh.
had come to surprise her.
Barbara
It was a dream.
is
Then she saw what
not gonna have a
kind of
happy
monsters they
ending
were,
on this, is she?
and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself.
What?
But I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on
Why'd she make
poor
that
Rick,
Sound of Music
who
pose?
disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara,
Oh.
tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Wow.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
That pun, seriously, that pun, I think I caught hearing aids. I'm sorry. I'll show myself out. Alright, so we know we're not going out that way, so we're just going to go ahead and go this way. And that means the
I
basement.
guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
So that means the basement is open now, right? Yep. Okay. There we go. Alright, into the basement we delve. Because there's never scary things in the basement. I learned this playing Phasmophobia. Oh, looks like the table's all cleaned up well.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Yeah. Fair enough. Oh, the dragon slide.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once. carrying packages.
I feel like Edie got up to a lot of stuff.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Clearly. Ooh.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Yeah, clearly.
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
That sounds fair enough. Wow. To see the outside world, he hung a painting. That's pretty wild. Still got that radio going in the background.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
If they were having earthquakes in a house
Having
that
a
built like
schedule,
that,
living
I'm
for
amazed it
today.
stood.
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped.
He spent a lot of time at this routine,
Whatever that
didn't
thing
he?
was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Yeah, I kind of think eventually you would...
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting.
Oh.
I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Poor boy's finally going to make a change.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara
Yeah.
and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake.
He has been super busy.
But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
He has been absolutely super busy. I gotta adjust myself. Been a little bit in the seat now.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
I bet anything
I don't
that's
mind
not in
if I
a
only
can
have
would
a
be
week.
amazing.
Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Wow.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
This poor family could not win, could they? Like, they just could not for the life of them. Oh.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Clearly. Ooh, what's in the box?
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
What was he? I guess that was his trash bin.
Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else.
That's right, they never found her brother.
But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Oh, wow. Wow. There's no train track to be finished there now.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
I could imagine that'd be a lot to take in.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family.
Who is she talking to?
And the history you're a part of.
Oh, wow. The storm drain. Wow. They really have done an amazing job with this game.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Who is...
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Who is she writing this to? Is this like a self-consoling thing, or...
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
To be honest, though, the house is pretty remarkable. So that's the other side of the porch. Okay.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
That's pretty morose.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Wow. Didn't they say they had a cat named Molly? Named after that little girl. Oh man, where's Molly's tombstone?
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
I feel like she totally got tucked that after her grandma Edie.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
Poor Odin went down with the house, huh?
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Ooh. Is that the old house? Guess we're about to find out. Tell you what, we're going to give you a break of my face so you can see this in all its glory.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Oh, wow. Ooh. That's fancy. Oh, watch your step, ma'am. We don't need an accident. Ooh, armage, 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 armage. All right. What we got?
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
I feel like Edie would have
But
been...
the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
I'm sorry for the like abrupt stops and everything, but like I'm trying not to break up the storytelling too much. But I feel like Edie would have been like an amazing person to word things. It's kind of like how Edith is wording things now.
Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
She's very receptive and understanding too, which is pretty amazing.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Is that the porch Molly chased the bird onto? It is. Wow. I'm saying wow a whole lot, ain't I?
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
That explains who she's writing this to. Yeah. So she's trying to single-handedly take out the last 2 remaining members of the family, all in one shot. And they saying their family's cursed. Their family's not cursed.
I never met Grandpa
They're a little
Sam,
special.
I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Oh.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
That makes sense. Well, certainly wasn't afraid of people breaking and entering. He had a...
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Ooh. I kind of feel like that makes sense, though, because the whole idea of like a curse and your family all dying, why not live life and enjoy it if in the back of your mind you're thinking, hey, this is probably going to happen prematurely anyways. But why Sam? Like, seriously, why Sam look like he smokes like a pack and a half of Pall Malls a day and drinks Budweiser? Okay, we're going to start another store now.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are going to last a lifetime.
Hmm?
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Smile, Dawn. Okay, got it.
She's not very
Take some
pleased.
pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious.
I feel like everything
Doesn't
is being
out here
shot
make you want to chill out?
at like
To tell you the
f1.8.
truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Ooh.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Ooh.
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn!
Why is this not...
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Well, that was weird. The handling of that?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
silly.
normal, Dawn.
Oh.
Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
I guess he captured all of his moments in life. Leading up to the end.
Of all these
Ooh.
stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Well, Sam, the Marlboro Man, you will be missed. Man. So, is there another... Wait, was there something else over there? Yep. All right. Dude, she is
After
literally...
Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
crawling around behind wood-framed walls, 22 weeks pregnant. And they're talking about their family being cursed. Oh no. This doesn't feel like this is going to be pretty.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Watching's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello?
Yeah,
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
Oh.
What his world was like.
I don't know, but I feel like Gregory was like a little Professor X. Ooh.
He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
La da 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 da. Da.
Whatever it was he saw, it sure made him happy.
Ooh.
I know how silly it sounds.
Dude.
That I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Uh-oh.
Damn it.
Why does she keep walking away? The phone's not that important.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
That is so dumb. Why are you leaving your kid in the pool? Hey,
There's so much.
get your kid out of the tub.
About Gregory. About everything.
Oh man, oh man. Gregory gonna join his little friends.
Wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Wow. That is so absolutely heart-wrenching. Like, I'm certain she was probably torn with making a change in life. And then, of course, leaving the baby, she probably was devastated too.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
I don't know.
A poem for Gus, who
Oh.
always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Ooh, that is really cool.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
That is really
I
cool.
tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife.
Well, a lot of kids get upset. Oh.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Ho, 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 ho. Gus threw up the dirty birdie.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh. All
Rain
right.
came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
He was not letting even Mother Nature disturb his celebration. Dude. Ooh.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day.
Like a squid.
Out there on the beach alone. Just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Ooh, that hit her mom hard.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
So, I wonder if that means she's going to name her kid Milton? If she has a son? Is there anything else through here? I don't know. Chores, I guess. Raise flag. Breakfast. Quiet time. Duties. Sweep trash. Mop mow yard. Greg. Be a baby. Jump rope. Jumping jacks. Push-ups. Crunches. Run to the mailbox and back. Man. They had a heck of a little routine,
My mom
didn't
moved
they?
up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Her mom had a nice little spot up here. I don't know if I'd want to overlook that.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Heck yeah.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
I just... It's such an amazing landscape with this story. Like, beauty, almost mysticism, wonder, and then this just dark tragedy. Yeah, scientific method. What is humming? Must be lights. Whoa.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
I feel like she must have really connected with him. Because wasn't Edie also a painter? Right? I don't know, but that's really cool. Yeah, nice little mock-up. Well, all the paints one could want. Ah, poor old Milton.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh. Ooh, old school flip books are awesome. Milton, dude just like chewed your face. Dude, this is really awesome.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
So did he just like paint himself a door and magically disappear? Like it was no one's business?
Mom spent months
Is that
searching
what I'm
for my
gathering?
brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
I love how the words just like dissipate as you walk into them or past them. It's a really cool experience. She is totally rocking like 90s kids gear. Like 90s, late 90s, like early 2000s.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
I could not begin to guess why. Not even playing. No clue why.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
I feel like that's a problem a lot of your family had. Is there more about Louis here? Am I missing something? Yep. I are missing something.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for
and I'll
an
go away for a
explanation.
moment.
As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Oh. Oh, wow. So, this is legit, like...
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small.
I've got to use...
imagining a labyrinth.
One hand to control the fish hand.
He'd feel his way about.
One hand for the game. That's showing up on the left.
Bats.
This is really a cool experience.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Okay.
But he found something more.
They just had a whole new
I worried
dimension
about
to that.
him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
In his own little world, escaping.
Like a whole new Lewis.
Of course he would be.
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Hot dog!
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
You got that Molly imagination.
and songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery.
I feel,
But his chopping was as reliable as ever.
Poor old Lewis
And
really
one day it struck him.
needed some more help. Hold up 1 second here. Turn that down some. Because it should be audible still.
That all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished.
Yeah, he was having a legit full-on
He held an
escape and a
election
half.
for mayor. And he won.
Lewis, why?
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Lewis, you don't have to be all important and mighty, man. Not even in your dreams.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
Oh, God.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
He forgot to go home from the cannery?
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Man, oh man. Lewis just had some
In
problems
Louisburg,
and
he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
I guess that works. She was gentle on the eyes and had a 5 o'clock shadow.
The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents.
Yeah. Killing them serpents.
He followed the sound of her
We'll go with harp.
silver harp.
I don't know what difference that's going to make to the storyline, but
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
sounds far off.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
Clearly.
He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Poor Lewis.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
I feel like there's going to be real bad.
My
like,
imagination
you know there's
is
going
as
to be
real
bad
as my
coming from
body,
this,
he
but
told
like,
me. It was hard to argue with him.
Eddie, sir. Oh. Clearly, this has to be Lewis's locker. Or he's best friends with that
Began to
person at
forget
work.
the world we know.
Uh-oh.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Makes good enough sense, though. I feel like, though, there's no shame in working a job, but...
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Oh, no.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Sometimes you can't save people.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
Why is it they're all faceless? Like, all that imagination, and he couldn't even...
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Oh, wow. Let me guess. Molly. You good, Molly? Yeah? At ease, sir. Whoa. Watch it, that thing's
His queen
pointing.
waited, holding his crown.
If she ain't holding his crown now, she will be.
There was only one thing left to do.
Guys, that looks like a guillotine. That's
Bend
not good.
down his head.
Really?
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Wow. It's a shame he didn't know he was really cool. So it looks like the next way out is this way. So that just leaves her, I think.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
I don't think there's a easy answer. I think the answer is just yes.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Dude, she got like a cool little spot up here. Like, this is legit a cool little spot.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
It's like one of those like faux Tiffany like touch lamps. Had those as a kid. I think my mom still has one. Oh, gray-haired people.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Ooh.
Maybe it should have come sooner.
I feel like it should have. Is that a Finch? Yep, that's Finch. Dude, this is really a cool spot too.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Oh. Here we go.
last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Edie legit sounds like a cool bird.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
No. The old bird left it open for her.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories.
I don't think those stories are the cause of your children's
I think
death.
it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
And she seems like she's fairly capable of putting in her own 2 cents, right?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
No.
That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years.
That's pretty cool.
God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
I love how those words just fall away.
I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
It's alright. You just gotta keep walking towards things.
For a while,
and then put
I
your back to
wondered.
things.
I started seeing things.
I guess she's gonna have her own personal chauffeur over there. He's leading the way.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
Oh.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Ooh, that's like an old school oven.
Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
Hey, yo.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Hey.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
Ooh.
We both tried
Tell
to
me
make
you
the
didn't
best
used to
of
do
it.
this stuff. Tell me. Tell me.
A few
About
years went
60,
by.
75 down the freeway. Stick the hand out. Let it capture the wind up and down.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot.
The accompanying art
The
and
rest
narration
happened
is so
pretty quickly.
beautiful.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
Oh.
And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
Oh, wow.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
Oh, no, 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 no.
This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now...
No.
Things didn't work out that way.
No. Really?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
That's not even right. Oh. I hope you enjoyed this game as much as I did. I also hope that you didn't need tissues as much as I did. Thank you for making it this far. Take good care of yourself, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Later.